up, guys? So today we're talking about the Kizer Vanguard series. All right, I have 4 different models here I've gotten since they've hit the market. It's been a few months now using them on and off. I was going to do individual reviews, but I figured I might as well just throw them together. They're all part of, you know, the grand scheme of an affordable Kizer. So Kizer, if you're not familiar with them, they've been around since 2012. They're one of the first companies that was coming out of China that was actually producing some really nice higher end knives. It was actually quite surprising. Now that's nothing new. In 2019, there's a few different companies that are China based that are making really good cutlery. Back when I first got into knives, if it was, you know, marked Chinese or if you knew it came from China, it was junk. That's just how it was for many, many years. So for some of the old timers, it's kind of weird and difficult to see, you know, someone say or someone talk about, oh yeah, this knife is really awesome. You know, it was made in China, and you're like, whoa, hang on, China. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff that comes from China, but not great knives. Well, that seems to be a thing of the past, certainly. There's been many, many years now with thousands of different knives made in China that are very, very high quality. So the Vanguard series from Kizer is basically their economy line, okay? So they're gonna hit a market where people are buying, you know, cheaper knives. They're not, you know, some of the best materials, they're not the best made. I actually have issues with all 4 of these different knives. Overall, I'm gonna say that they're good working knives, but I have some different things we're gonna talk about in this video that I personally don't like about them. So it's kind of, the reason I'm mentioning the whole, you know, China quality thing is because I liked Kizer, and there's a bunch of different models from Kizer that I enjoyed because they were higher end knives from China. Now that they have this economy line, it's been around for a while now, they're just kind of hit and miss to me. There's a lot of other different companies that I think are putting out better product in the price range. However, they're hit and miss. Some of these I love. For example, I really like this one and I really like this one. But for some reason, these two, just not that fond of. So let's talk about them real quick. First off, the large one here is the Kane. This sells for about $80, and you know, give or take, depending on where you're buying it. This is sporting some VG10. VG10 is an awesome steel. Overall, I just find this knife to be a little bit on the uncomfortable side. All right, there's no jipping on the back or anything. It's comfortable to rest my thumb here. My problem is with the liner lock. Okay, you see this is a liner lock, but it's kind of a sharp edge on the liner. All right, so and sometimes I get that issue where skin is pinched in between the frame or bolster in this case and that liner. All right, sometimes I go to push that and it's just my skin's kind of stuck there. I have to pull it out. This locks up great. It actually cuts and performs very well. It's a good looking knife in my opinion, but my bigger issue with this is the flipper's uncomfortable. Again, just you know, less finishing. This is what you're gonna get with a more affordable economy, you know, line of knives. So this particular flipper, again, just kind of squared off corners on the top here, and there happens to be a pretty sharp corner right where your finger lands. It's actually rounder on the bottom part of it, so if this was upside down, it'd probably be more comfortable. And you know, it works, it's fine. It's just, you know, when I'm testing knives and using them, I use them a lot, and it just, you know, stood out to be uncomfortable. It's just not something that I particularly liked. It's quite large, as you can see. You can't miss the thing. If you start up on top here and sweep down, you don't get as much you know, pressure throwing it out there, so sometimes you might get a misfire, if you will. It's a little more comfortable to do that, but generally speaking, and I talked about this in the past, when I'm using flippers, I like to put a little bit pressure inward and then downward, okay, to really get them to fly open. In this particular case, it just tends to be a little bit uncomfortable with this model. So for the $80 price range, a little bit more expensive, I would definitely recommend some other knives on the market. I'll leave these open so you guys can see them. Yeah, I mean, $80, there's much better competitors in my opinion. So I'm not a huge fan of the Kane. The Hunter, I do like, all right? The Hunter sells for about 70-ish. Again, give and take, depends on where you're getting it from. This is sporting 154 CM, which is an awesome, awesome all-around steel. Huge fan of it. This one is comfortable. Again, there's no jimping or anything on the back here. Also a liner lock, don't have the same issue because maybe it's a smaller liner. I don't really know. But this one also locks up fine. All right, no blade play, up, down, left, right, or anything. Also something else that all 4 of these models I've noticed, they have tighter clips. These Vanguard series, they're just tight. They're not like cold steel tight, they're totally functional. But just something else that I've noticed, this one obviously has a little bit more of a deeper carry. It's not a completely concealed carry, but totally fine. Just overall, I just like it. It just has a little bit of a different flair, all this, you know, kind of decorative work in these G10 scales. There is quite a bit of texture on the front and back straps here. All right, so when your fingers wrap around, you can feel that. Overall, I really do like the Hunter model. The 154 CM does perform very, very well in this knife. It's been an awesome slicer. Very generic kind of blade there, nothing too special, but very utilitarian. I mean, anyone can grab that and EDC it and probably enjoy it. Again, $70, it's not cheap. These are the cheaper Kizer models, but $70, there's still a ton of options on the market. All right, definitely not my go-to, but certainly a knife model that I like, you know, that's in the Vanguard series. The next one here is the Domin or Domin Mini. All right, this is around $50, $55, somewhere around that price range. This one's sporting N690. Now, when I first got this, I liked it a lot, but after using it, something I definitely don't like at all is, and I don't like this when any knife company does this. All right, let me zoom in a little bit. If you notice, these scales are slightly smaller than the liners, okay, or the frame of the knife. And they do this for a look. It's just a look. That's all. There's been numerous companies that have done this on different models over the years, but the liners stick out just a little bit past the scales. I hate this, not because of the way it looks, but because of how it feels. Every single time a company does this, I hate the way it feels because it feels like there's no scales on this knife. When I rest my thumb on the back here, I'm not feeling this G10, okay, which is slightly textured and comfortable. All I'm feeling is the frame. So you can literally take these scales off and it would feel exactly the same to me. What ends up happening, and these are nice and rounded, which is a little better than some of the other models that I've had this problem with. But what happens is just, it feels like it's unfinished. All right, it's kind of narrow. These are semi-thin. I just don't like the way that feels at all. All right, total lack of grip as well. I'm not, you guys know in the past, I haven't really, you know, ripped onto knives if they didn't have any kind of jimping or anything like that. I'm not, you know, fanatical about jimping, but this one noticeably feels smooth. All right, but overall, besides that issue, I like the blade a lot. All right, full flat grounds. The N690 is okay. It's not a bad steel at all. This is a really good slicer. It's just that feel for me ruins it, honestly. I like the looks of it. It's pretty clean, simple design. I just can't get over this portion of it. All right, so for $55, I would certainly pass. All right, and the last one here I actually like. Now this has the same issue, but for some reason it doesn't stand out as much, okay? This one is the mini Begleiter. This one also sells for about $55 or so. However, this gets a steel upgrade to $154, in my opinion. These are the same price, both these knives. All right, but we have N690 on the bottom and we have $154 on the top. $55 for $154, that's a win all day long in my book. I like the way this looks. This has a little pivot collar, which is pretty cool. I love the coloration. Obviously, they make these in different colors. Overall, I just like this knife. It's more comfortable than this one in the hand. Still have that issue, again, being kind of slick and just not feeling these scales, but again, for some reason, just not as bad on this one. Same full flat ground blade. It's a little bit more slender than the other one. All right, a little leaner. The points are about the same, but very good performing knife overall. All right, this one also being a liner lock. The liner is very rounded as well. All right, so no issues at all as far as how it feels unlocking or anything like that. Lockup's awesome. Also a little bit of a tighter pocket clip, but not that big of a deal. So yeah, the Vanguard series, I just thought I'd kind of cover these, you know, all together. Why not? Instead of doing individual reviews on them. It's just very hit and miss. So essentially what we have here is a Chinese company that makes really nice high-end cutlery or higher-end cutlery, but they want to compete in the lower-end market. So now we're back down to, you know, economy-made Chinese knives. So not all that impressive overall. I mean, again, as on a whole, individual knives can be more impressive than others, as I've just mentioned. But I just don't think that they can really compete very well with some of the other options that are on the market. What you do see in a lot of Chinese cutlery is you see better steels at lower prices, all right, compared to, let's say, an American company. So seeing a knife like this with $154 for $55, that's awesome. A lot of American companies can't really touch that. They usually end up using, you know, lesser quality steels. So in that respect, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, a knife is for cutting, and if you have a good blade steel on there, it's properly heat treated and everything, that's where your performance comes from, you know. So like I said, it's just kind of hit and miss, but those are my experiences with the Vanguard series. I like some of them, I don't like other ones overall, because people have asked me, you know, is Kizer good? And this goes for all different companies out there. You know, is Spyderco good? Yeah, Spyderco's great. Is Bird good? Yeah, I personally think they're good too. That's their economy line. All right, I think the Bird knives, even though they're using lesser quality steels, I think overall their designs are just nicer, more comfortable. I just prefer them. They still offer, you know, cheaper lines of knives. So anyway, I want to hear your feedback. Let me know if you've had some Kizer Vanguard models. Total hit and miss for me. Love some of them, just really dislike other ones and don't think that they can compete at all compared to all the options out there. And now I'm making this video in 2019. There are more knives than ever. It's amazing. I thought there was a lot of knives back in the 90s when I got into it. There's just so many options. It's impossible to just say, oh, this is the best knife. If you say this is the best knife, you're full of it. Because number one, you haven't tried the million knives that are out there to compare it to. And number two, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of best knives. There's so many good knives in the marketplace. It just basically comes down to your preference. What's comfortable to you? What's in your price range? You know, what do you need a knife for? But there's a lot of best knives. For some people, these are their best knives. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.